Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the newest disc in Paul McBeth's lineup. We're taking a look at the Athena. I haven't seen any official flight numbers yet, but the flight numbers that are going around for this fairway driver is speed 7, glide 5, turn 0, and a fade of 2, which I would agree for the most part, except for the fact that the rim width is at 1.8 centimeter, which is actually very similar and comparable to other speed 8 discs within Discraft's lineup. As you can see, we have the Stalker, a speed 7 at a 1.6, the Cyclone, also considered a speed 7 at a 1.6, and then a Reaper, which is what a lot of people feel like the Athena is modeled after, is a speed 8 at also the 1.8 rim. However, the nose on the Athena is pretty blunt, so maybe that could be the reason why it's considered a speed 7 instead of a speed 8, because it's not cutting through the air quite as well as some of maybe the other speed 8s in Discraft's lineup. So let's go ahead and take a look at the flight of the Athena, because that's what you all want to see. How does it fly? And when thrown on a hyzer, it is going to do just that. It's going to hold the nice arcing hyzer line, not deviate off at all. Even when thrown flat for medium slower arms, it's going to ride super straight until it gets to the later part of the flight, and then it feels like it just hits a brick wall and just crashes. It doesn't have a forward penetrating finish that you do get out of a lot of other fairway drivers and distance drivers. It just kind of seems to hit a wall and just crashes right to the ground. I was also really impressed with how torque resistant this disc is, particularly in the early part of the flight. Now, when thrown with a lot of torque and really ripped hard, like say on a forehand, you're gonna get a little bit of turn in that mid-flight, or if you're a faster arm, these are kind of more the flights that you should expect out of the Athena. Gets a little bit of turn in that mid-flight, but then it's always gonna come and fight its way out at the very end, because as I say, as soon as it slows down, it's like, nope, here, just crashes. It just stops and falls to the ground. However, in those earlier parts of the flight, it does have pretty decent glide. The glide 5, I'm a little torn on. To me personally, I feel like it's maybe a glide 4, but I think that's just because of having the slower arm speed. Bigger arms that can really make the best use out of this disc, those are going to be ones I think you're going to see a lot more glide on. I mean, you can even see here on this, when thrown on an extreme anhyzer angle, how it actually did glide pretty well. It leveled out and just held that turn. And that's something I think a lot of people are going to like. It has that torque resistance, but it's workable. You can put it on a line and it's going to hold that line. So you can hold it on an anhyzer line, but it's not going to turn into an inadvertent roller or anything like that unless you give it absolutely no height at all. This is going to be such a trustworthy disc for us slower arms as a fairway driver for just nice control shots. Bigger arms, it's going to be very workable, especially in the woods. Also, I do like to throw this on the course when it's in the wind, because it maybe will kind of cut through the wind a little bit better than say a mid-range, which might get knocked down. And then also because of how overstable it is at the very end of the flight, I can trust it over an OB almost the entire way, know it's going to swing back. But then when it comes to forehand, where I think this disc really shines, great for those flex shots, very easy flexes on forehand, and it also makes a halfway decent forehand roller disc. I didn't land that on the best line, it landed too much straight up, but it still holds pretty straight when it comes to a forehand, at least shorter forehand rollers. And when it comes to thumbers, it's serviceable. It has this really big, wide fade to it, so you really have to leave it out extremely wide and just let it fade all the way back. So not much to say about the plastics. It only is in this test flight ESP. I'll do more videos once more plastic types are released. So looking at the Lefty lines, I wanted to compare the Athena against other Speed 7 and Speed 8 discs in the Discraft DGA family. You can see again with the Athena, very straight flight until the very end, and then it just crashes and hyzers. An ESP Stalker has a lot of turn in the mid-flight. You can see it kind of fluttering around, and then just at the very end of the flight, it had a little bit of hyzer. While the DGA Bonsai, I feel at least the flight-wise in the early part of the flight is very comparable, very straight, but then at the end it doesn't have nearly as harsh of a fade. It kind of keeps pushing forward as it fades, versus the Athena again just feels like it hits a wall and then it just kind of crashes. And I've heard a few people compare it as a slower speed Undertaker, and I honestly feel maybe it just depends on the run of Undertaker, but I didn't think that to be the case. The Undertaker got considerably more turn in the mid-flight and had less of a fade than the Athena. Now, if I did have to compare the Athena to a current disc in Discraft's Fairway lineup, it would have to be the Reaper. However, the Reaper is more torque resistant, it doesn't hold as straight as the Athena, and has a harsher, more predictable fade. Now, I think the Athena flies very much like a seasoned Reaper, so if the Reaper is just a little bit too overstable for you, take a look at the Athena. It is a spot, I think, in Discraft's Fairway lineup that they have been sorely lacking and been needing a disc like this for a long time. It's more torque resistant than, say, a Stalker or a Passion, but it also doesn't have as harsh of a fade as a Raptor or a Reaper, so it really fills that void that Discraft just didn't have with that Speed 7, Speed 8 style of discs. It's a great counterpart to a lot of different fairway drivers, which is why I feel this is going to be a very popular disc. Well, thank you all so much for watching. As always, thank you to my sponsors, Discraft and Distot, and be sure to use that promo code down below on your next order. Until next time, everyone, keep banging them chains.